to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
Cut out the coffee, cut out those energy drinks that make you crash, and put yourself in a position to succeed with an energy boost from RockinThatIDLife.com. You'll be energized, focused, and you'll even experience an elevated mood for up to 6 hours. Check out RockinThatIDLife.com to learn more.
A team that was in last place on January 3rd. The players on the bench are bouncing up. History will be made tonight in Boston.
You're watching Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with your hosts Kurt Price, Bill Day, and what appears to be a Peter Dinklage cosplay. So just sit back, grab a beer, and enjoy the best blues hockey talk on YouTube.
Welcome to episode number 3 of season 14. This is episode number 484 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. Well, if you like burgers, give them a try sometime. I can't usually get them myself because my girlfriend's a vegetarian, which pretty much makes me a vegetarian, but I do love the taste of a good burger. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all the socials is at LGB Radio. I am Kurt Price, and my co-host for the big show tonight is Bill Day. Jeff Ponder is MIA due to the very serious allegations against him. So, and that country's refusal to accept him. That just came into my mind. That's well, I should have had that in the notes.
Right. It's always apropos in a hockey podcast when somebody's absent.
Right.
He's suspended.
The agenda for tonight includes discussion about the Blues' last 3 games, which includes a win and 2 losses. So the Blues started off the season 2-0, and now they are 2-2. Some Blues fans are freaking out, getting all pissed off online. It's 4 games into the season. Yeah, there's some stuff to talk about, but I think we can calm down a little bit. Bill, how are you tonight, sir? Just you and I tonight.
Yep. The Peter Dinklage cosplay is really taking over Ponder's life. Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm not panicking. They're talking in the chat about panicking, and I'm angry. Just last night was just a shit game, and I always get angry when there's a shit game. But there's everybody will know. Like, there's one play in this game in particular that makes me angrier than anything else. So we'll talk at length about that.
Justin Scott says, how are we doing tonight, fellas? I hope this isn't panic 4 games into the season kind of night. Never. Anybody panicking 4 games into the season needs to take a little emotional vacation, I think. We're 2-2.
Right. We're 2-2. Chemistry still got to get figured out. It's way too early. But
although Edmonton fans were kind of freaking out after 3 games, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And 2 periods of last night's game too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And hell, I'm panicking about that because I've got fucking McDavid and Hyman on my fantasy team.
Well, they were about 3.5 minutes away or 4 minutes away from losing that game last night. They tied it late in the 3rd.
Yep.
So, our official beers of episode number 484. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My Bill's handle is Billy Blue Note 33. My handle is CPrice12, and Jeff's is J Ponder 94. Bill, why don't you go first, because I'm gonna go reach behind me and get my beer.
Okay. I'll give you a moment. Why don't you get Dexter to get your beer?
Of course, he comes back and blocks the fridge. He's like a 125-pound dog. Go out of the way, buddy.
So continuing in my dedication to clearing out my beer cellar with things that are too old. Some ancient Central Waters Brewing out of Wisconsin, Satin Solitude Imperial Stout. Oh, it's definitely too old. It tastes pretty awful. Tastes like the bitter tears of last night's game. So,
okay, mine is the Abita Purple Haze, which I do enjoy quite a bit. Saw it in the store when Amy and I were in Indianapolis over the weekend to go see Pink in concert.
oh,
which
sweet.
which I had never seen Pink in concert. I don't know a lot of Pink songs. Okay, I know probably the ones that most people know, but I'd never seen her in concert. Amy's a big fan. She went and saw her in concert here in St. Louis. Wanted to go again. Said I should go. So I would like it. I did. It was a lot of fun. She puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know this. You know, she flies around the arena.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil Stadium, which have you ever been?
Nope.
Where the Colts play? That place, I was amazed at how tall it was. It was, I mean, it's a massive, it's like an airplane hangar in there. It's huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
Like,
It's crazy.
Seen it many a times from 70 as I'm driving through to Ohio or wherever. Never actually stopped in Indianapolis proper, but
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, it was a really good concert. I'm really glad I went. We played some pickleball. We're up there too a couple days. That was fun. And yeah, and traffic getting out of there was a mess. We were sitting in a parking lot, and I was very proud of Amy because she, I think she would agree with me when I say this, and I don't think she would care because it's true. She became a real bitch leaving the parking lot because she had to, because just people were just being dicks. Drivers, they're just not letting people in, trying to force their way through, not going over the car. And Amy was like, "Fuck it, I'm going," and she just like rode the bumper of the guy in front of her and just wouldn't let anybody in. And we finally get out of there. I was like, I can't condone what you just did, but I do approve. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
I did like it. I liked it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the old days of Riverport, when you get out to a concert and you're not leaving the parking lot. Like, concert's done at 11. You're not getting out of there till 1:30.
It took us 45 minutes to go about 30 yards to get out of there. It was bananas. There were like 12 different lines of cars trying to merge. It was awful. But yeah, still a good night.
Yeah, I've heard that Pink puts on a really, really high energy, like theatrical performance. So
yeah, and she interacts with the crowd a lot. That was cool. It's always fun when the performer actually talks to the crowd, and it just makes it more personable and more friendly, and it feels like you're more part of the show, right?
Yeah.
Some bands come out and they don't really interact too much. They do their own thing, which is fine. But I like it when the bands go the extra mile and the performers go the extra mile, and actually, and she, people are giving her stuff. She's taking it on stage, which is like her thing apparently. People bring stuff for her, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time.
Very cool.
There's Amy says she was tired and hungry. Yes, she was. You would not like her when she's tired and hungry. She's kind of like a mix between the Hulk and someone on a Snickers commercial that you don't want to cross.
Too funny.
Okay, as I pour my beer into my glass, which was extra foamy. All right, so let's get into it here. Brandon Saad was activated from the IR, and Texier was placed on IR before last night's game. Sundqvist was cleared for contact, likely to return soon. They said he is not week to week; he is day to day. So Sundqvist suffered a torn ACL in his right knee in late March last season and underwent surgery to repair the injury soon after. The rehabilitation was expected to last 6 months, putting Sundqvist right on track for an October return. And Bannister said he is going through protocol right now. It's definitely probably not week to week, more like that today. He's still a little ways away. It might be a little longer, like 5 to 6 to 7 days. He's trying to be specific. So we'll see how it goes. I think let's go ahead and let's do, since we just started the show, let's go ahead and do the first game, and then we'll do the Sharks game, and then we'll take a break. How's that?
That works for me.
Okay. Anything in the comment here? Anything interesting? You guys chatting in the chat here? We got Justin. We got Trees. Trees watch some playoff baseball. Yep. Okay. All right.
Some talk about the Colorado Avalanche going 0-3 to start the season.
Hate to see it. Another reason why we can't panic at 2-2. I mean, you know how a lot of fans are.
Yeah.
if you
every emotion.
If you lose back-to-back games, they want to blow the team up. It's just, even if you're having a good season, you sit so-and-so, bench this guy, bench that guy. Calm down. The Blues had a brilliant comeback. This game against the Sharks, the 5-4 win in overtime, an embarrassing record last season against the Sharks, 0-2-1 against the last place Sharks last season.
Right, completely unacceptable.
Yeah, and Hofer was in net for all three, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, they just like, it's like they're trying to force feed Hofer the Sharks. And he was back in net again against them this time, and we're down again against them, and we're not. It's just like, what is going on? Hofer, and I think I tweeted out, I'm like, Hofer is not allowed to play against the Sharks anymore. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's his fault or not. It's not working out. 4 games. I thought it was going to be 4 games against a really bad San Jose Sharks team. And then we're just not winning. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I mean, the Blues, we're not world beaters, but we should be beating the Sharks.
Yeah. Everybody should be beating the Sharks.
And you know what? I think, it's probably painful for Sharks fans for everyone to be beating them. But at the end of the season and when the draft comes around, I'm sure they'll gladly take that first overall pick. Again.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'd have to ask our friends at Teal Town how they're feeling right now with Celebrini. Looked great against the Blues and now is out injured. So how's that number 1 overall pick going, boys?
Well, that's sports. But the thing is that it was funny during the game because we're friends with them. We have a good back and forth. It's all in good fun. But they they gave us a little poke when it was it 3-0 Sharks? I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm like, and they say, let's just checking in on our fans over at Let's Go Blues Radio, and I'm like, I think they shared the Joey friends tweet, how you doing? And then I replied with a GIF from Idiocracy, go away, Baton. I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And then of course when the Blues came back and they won in overtime, I had to respond, right?
Right.
Let's check in our friends at Teal Town USA. How you doing? So that's fun.
Yeah, always good to have good banter with those boys.
Yeah,
and girls.
Yeah, they good point. They have a large cast over there.
Yes.
Macklin Celebrini, this was his NHL debut, had a goal and assist. His goal at 7-1 was the second fastest in NHL history by a player. Selected with the number 1 pick, only Marley Mew scored his first goal faster in his debut. 2 minutes and 59 seconds, October 11th, 1984. Celebrini had a good game. Kid looks good, in his first game anyway. But, it's funny that when this goal was scored, I was like, come on. It was a little spin backhand pass to the center. He was just trying to pass it to throw it in front, right? And it goes off his skate and goofily off of his skate and off
of Kessel.
Yeah, right? Off of Kessel's skate. Kind of hit his skate and kind of dragged a little bit and then went by Hofer. It was just a goofy, fluky, stupid goal.
Total
right.
Fluke.
And Celebrini didn't even know it went in. after the game, he said he didn't even know. He thought that the celebration was like, wow, the celebration is like, wow, he's really excited he scored. But and lots of talk about celebrating this game. Holy crap. They've talked about him nonstop, which I get. I understand. But it was just one of those things like we went through this last year with
Bedard.
So it's like, yeah, okay, here we go again. Nonstop talking about celebrating, which again, he looked good. He should be a good player for them. A little jealous. But yeah, so Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou each had 2 assists in this game. Falk did tie with 47 seconds left in regulation, which, he's just trying to throw it on net, right? And get a rebound, and it goes in with neighbors there in the screen in front. And then Shen won it 45 seconds in overtime. Blues did not lose control of the puck in overtime. They had it the entire time. Beautiful off the post shot. Although, I will say that the goalie's name is Blackwood. He had a good game up until the third period. Had I thought was a soft goal against him with Falk, and then the overtime goal was they didn't give a great look. That I saw, but it was from the face-off dot, right, and it was off the far post, and then good shot, but couldn't tell if he should have had it or not. I didn't see a good angle of it.
Yeah, I mean, Shen raced in and pushed him back far enough and picked his spot. It's one that top tier goalie probably makes the save, but Blackwood's probably 50-50 on making that save.
Yeah. So, and this was the 5th time in team history the Blues trailed by 3 goals in the third period and came back to win. And this is interesting because during the game they said the Blues were 140-0 when trailing by 3+ goals entering the third period. But there's also the stat, this is the 5th time in Blues history they trailed by 3 goals in the third period and came back to win. So I'm wondering what the difference is. Because entering the third period down by 3 means you're trailing by 3 in the third period. So I'm not sure which one's correct because I heard both.
Right. I mean, I guess you could enter the third period down 1 or 2 goals, give up 1 or 2 goals,
right,
to get down 3 and then come back.
Right. That's true. So they're saying that the Blues have only they've trailed by 3 or more goals entering the third period 141 times before this game in their history. That seems low, doesn't it? I mean, they've been in the league for a lot of games, and
maybe you're right. That does seem,
I mean, maybe
pretty low, but maybe it's since somebody came up with that particular stat, like since they started tracking goals by period. I don't know. Like it seems weird. Felt like when I read that, I don't know. It did feel low and kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't happen that often. 5 or 1 or whatever. So that this was the 5th, or it was the 2nd. One of the two, whichever stat makes more sense to you or whatever. So I've seen both. They said the 140-0 during the game, and then they said in the articles after the game they said the 5th time. So I don't know. Never turn off the game, folks, because this was the 2nd game in a row the Blues came back from a multiple goal deficit. So, and to win. Yeah.
Exciting. Like I will say, given the score and it was a late start on a work night. I did not stay up for it and said I would watch it while working on Friday morning, and it wound up being Friday afternoon, but I did get to watch it. And I don't blame anybody, especially myself, for not staying up to watch that game on a Thursday night.
What, Justin Scott, don't get me started with ESPN. One of the worst coverages in history of yesterday. It was absolutely embarrassing. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, we can address that more when we get to yesterday's game, but we'll revisit this. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Blues lose their first of the season, 4-3 in Vegas. Blues were outshot 28-22. Bushnevich had 2 goals, 1 assist. Bennington had stopped 20 out of 24. Aiden Hill stopped 19 out of 22. The Blues power play was 1 for 2. Vegas was 0 for 2. Again, the Blues fell behind multiple goals for the third straight game. Fell behind multiple goals for the third straight game. After the second game, I said that the Blues on Twitter, I said that the Blues could not keep doing this. Obviously, you can't keep falling behind by multiple goals, especially in every game. And it's a recipe for disaster. The comebacks are fun and exciting. I love them. Can't keep doing it every game. So, and I think, goals have been okay. And by the end of the game, they're scoring goals, except for last night. They only had the one. But, last season was goal scoring was an uphill trek for the Blues. So, being down multiple goals in a game for a team that struggled to score offensively last season, that does not bode well for this team this season. But so they've got to clean that up a little bit. Blues did score first in this game, though. Bushnevich with a nice backhander high over Hill, far side. Absolutely horrible play by Hannafin on defense for the Knights. They pointed this out on the broadcast. Just glided right by Bushnevich. I'm like, what? I was like, what? It was just nice to see another defenseman shit the bed on a play and have it cost him a goal. Because this is going to be, let's be honest, this is going to be a hate on Letty show. So buckle up, because he has made a number of mistakes in the past few games I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I'll say Hannafin didn't make that play because I have him on my fantasy team. So he's anybody on my fantasy team is just off to a pretty shitty start.
The Knights scored 2 goals after that to finish the period and go up 2-1. After one, Theodore scored early in the second after a horrible turnover by, if the foreshadowing didn't do it for you, Nick Letty. 2 shots later, the Vegas scored 3-1 Vegas. And then Bushnevich scored on the power play to make it 3-2 Vegas. But Roy scored on a redirection in front. 2 Knights players were left all alone in front on the shot from the point. Poor coverage. This was not Letty's fault. He was not on the ice for this, but still.
Oh, let's blame him anyway.
Robert Thomas did make it close, scoring on a breakaway top corner to make it 4-3 with 4:56 remaining. But that was all the Blues could manage. No miracle comeback in this game. I thought the Blues were going to do it. They had their chances in this game to tie this game. I thought they could have tied it, but just didn't work out. I mean, getting down by a few goals, it's just early. Just you can't keep doing that and expect to win.
Yeah. Even though like you said, they took the lead with a beautiful backhander by Bushnevich. Immediately, like, Vegas responded so quickly and then was up by the end of the first period. And we play way too often from behind, and too much to overcome against an elite team like Vegas.
The stat cards on the Vegas Knights versus the Blues were not friendly to the Blues. Vegas, if you put a lot of stock in advanced stats, the Knights had quite a few players on the positive side of the marker.
Barbashev leading the way.
Yeah, Barbashev had a great game.
He's having a great start to the season.
Yeah,
all around.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, you knew losing him was going to hurt, because he was good for us, But he's been good for Vegas. So good. I love Barbashev. Good to see it. I just hate to see it for that team and against us especially.
Yeah. And with Zach Dean not making this team out of camp 2 years after the trade.
Yep. Bright spots for the Blues in this game. Bushnevich, his stat card was pretty off the charts. He had one of the better nights overall. Kyrie was good. Broberg was good. Broberg's been good this season. I've liked Broberg a lot. Falk's been good. Same thing. I've overall liked him a lot this season. He's been good. Been nice to see him in this small sample size play well. as he's apparently healthy after last season playing with some injuries. So
Right.
had a bad year last year.
Yeah, and given the opportunity to run the power play.
Yep. And he's you know what? As polarizing a figure as Krug has been on the ice, you know, his role was the quarterback on the power play, and with him going down, the Blues had to have somebody. If they're not going to use Perunovich, who is probably not ready to take over quarterback number one on the power play, it's nice to have a guy like Falk who can be an excellent quarterback on the power play.
Right. It's kind of hard to, take over a power play when you can't even get a sniff of the lineup, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah. I wish he was playing. We talked about him in the season preview show. This is the make or break season for him, right? So I mean, he'll get in the lineup eventually, but he hasn't played yet, so you got to wonder, if you're not going to play the start of the season, and a guy like Suter is playing over you, and if you want to get a good look at Perunovich, I mean, you know what you're going to get with Suter more or less. So you would think Perunovich would have been gotten in a game or two already in the first four, but not yet. So
with I mean, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but with Letty as lower body injury day to day, hoping that Perunovich gets drawn in tomorrow night.
Yep. We'll see.
So live hockey updates. Panic in Denver. Boston just scored 2 very quick goals to go up 4-1. First was a power play goal by Pasternak. After Marchand did a nice job diving to take a penalty. Rantanen barely touched him, and he went down like a sack of potatoes.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see it. And right after, towards the end of that power play, they scored, and then right after the power play, Lindholm finds the upper corner, and 4-1 Boston with half the game to go.
I mean, everyone hates Boston, but they're in the East. So
and now we have a scrap.
See, I knew I should. The baseball game is over. I should have this game on.
Yeah, Zadorov dropping the gloves, and I don't know who the Avs player was.
What channel is this on? TNT?
TNT.
All right, let's see if I can find it here. There we go. Oh, it's also on True. TNT and True. I'm not sure why they simulcast like that. Why did I do that?
Yeah, it's also on Max.
That's weird.
Yeah.
At least it's not on NHL Network, which few people get.
Oof.
All right, halfway through this game, 4-1 Boston. Let's make it 8-2. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right. So the Blues home opener.
Wait. We have skipped commercials, sir.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
we didn't take a break. We got to get paid.
All right. So after the break, which we are overdue for, we will. Where's my commercials? There they are. We'll talk about the St. Louis Blues home opener against the Minnesota Wild. You're listening to Kurt and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
As a hockey player, Mike Burgoyne knows a thing or two about making the perfect play. And when it comes to real estate, he's always ready to score the winning goal for his clients. If you're a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues Radio listener looking to score the home of your dreams, you'll receive special rates with Mike. Go ahead, shoot some questions his way, and he'll have the answer quicker than Curtis Joseph on a breakaway.
Curtis Joseph got the pedal down!
Any barriers? Mike will mow them down like Chris Pronger in front of the net. He'll score you your dream home or sell your existing home faster than a Brett Hall one-timer.
Flip past the Hall, he shoots, he scores!
See Burgoyne's real estate prowess in action today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or by calling 314-753-4060. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com, and that phone number is 314-753-4060. Getting Mike Burgoyne on your team will be the boost your power play needs.
Hey guys, it's Jeff. You know, the fun, energetic host of Let's Go Blues Radio. I know I give off a natural energy and cheerful glow, but as I've gotten older, I've realized I need a kick in the pants to get going. I've tried it all, from forcing myself to drink coffee to picking up an energy drink every morning, but none of it provided true, sustainable energy without crash. Luckily, my friend Dustin at RockinThatIDLife.com told me about their product, Energy, which provides exactly what I need. The first thing I do every morning is fill up my shaker bottle with water and a small energy packet, and within minutes of drinking it, my day truly begins. I feel motivated to get going on my work and feel the mental focus take effect as I dive into what I'm doing. I don't crash, and I feel like $1,000,000 throughout the day. Reach out to Dustin today to experience how much better your professional life can be. Email him at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and get $10 off your first order. That's rockinthatidlife.com, and that email again is rockinthatidlife@gmail.com. Don't let a lack of energy keep you from being who you want to be.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
All right, so let's dig into some of the chat we got going on here. Okay. Let's see. Justin Scott, the Baked Beaver says, yeah, the Avs are absolutely joking. Love it. Let's see. And Justin Scott, let's see. The as far as ESPN's broadcast last night for the Wild game, which we're going to talk about here, the camera work was atrocious. As our home opener, we didn't even get to see our hype presentation, but this felt like a Minnesota broadcast from on jump. No way you can tell me they were good. Do they ever show the intro for a team's home opener on the broadcast? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think Bally's would, but I mean, at this point, it's on YouTube. So, and I watched it tonight.
Yeah, I watched it
and it's the camera work on that was atrocious. Like it was weird. Like they showed what I saw on YouTube. It was like the camera was on the Jumbotron, and that's what you got.
Oh.
And it not very good. Looked like in person it would have been pretty damn awesome, but
he said this felt like a Minnesota broadcast from the jump. I didn't think so. They were winning the game, and whenever the team is winning, they're going to focus on that team. It's just the way it is. I mean, then if the Blues were winning that game, then they would have been focused on the Blues. So, yeah. I mean, it's just
and Kaprizov dominated the game, so he did get all the talk.
Sure. I mean, and that's just the way it works. The best players get all the talk, and he was the best player on the ice that game.
Right. The Bob Wischusen, I'm not a big fan of his because basically it's just like he screams every time something's about to happen he thinks something's about to happen. Not my cup of tea. AJ Mleczko, I'm a fan. I generally enjoy her broadcast. I didn't think there was anything terrible last night. And, when the Blues finally did score, they're like, oh, is this the comeback? Right. Cause that's been our thing. So
they talked about
I didn't think it was too terribly slanted, but like Kurt said, Minnesota was winning the game and handily. So you're going to get more about them.
Yeah. I mean, just the way it goes. It sucks. I mean, as a fan, you're frustrated with the Blues aren't playing well, and I get it. Every little thing irks you. And I've always hated the bias narrative for broadcasts or for officiating. I've always hated that. I just, I think it's just sour grapes a lot of the times, personally. But shots on goal were 28-27 St. Louis, which is actually they started off this game, outshooting Minnesota by quite a bit. But I believe, let's get my games mixed up here. Let's see, Minnesota. Where are we at here? There's my Minnesota stats. I mean, okay. Yeah, we held Minnesota to 4 shots in the first period, and then they only had 1 shot through most of the second period, and then they got 6 or 7 shots late in that period to make it a respectable 8 shots in that period. But so in the final shot total was 20-7, which we were up by quite a bit early. They came back. Bennington made 23 out of 26 saves. Gustafson 27 out of 28.
Gustafson was definitely the better goalie in the game.
Yeah, he played well. I thought the Blues were sloppy in this game, handling the puck, receiving passes like they have been in most of the games so far this season. They have not clicked like they probably want to. In first half of the first game of the season, they looked completely out of sync. They looked like they had no chemistry, zero, none, zip. And they've looked at times like that, maybe not quite that bad, but they've looked out of sync. They've mishandled the puck. I don't know what's going on with puck management because it is not. They're not consistently good at. They have not been consistently good at managing the puck this season over the course of a game yet. So looking forward to them maybe cleaning that up some. Minnesota played the game without forwards Joel Eriksson Ek with a broken nose. Marcus Johansson was undisclosed, and defenseman Jared Spurgeon was lower body. So they had some key guys out. I thought, okay, those guys are out. It's our home opener. We should. I mean, there's a chance we finish ahead of Minnesota this season. Who knows? And I like their chances in this game. Didn't work out. Wild scored first in the first period. Nice pass by Kaprizov to Hartman, cutting to the net after entering the zone. Letty was out to lunch on this play.
So yeah, but overall,
who was the forward?
So two bad plays by forwards. Shen trying to pinch on Kaprizov and got beat, and then that puts 3 at the blue line. It was Foxa who just didn't follow.
That's the thing. So I agree with you. Foxa was on Hartman, and then as Hartman was cutting to the net, Foxa peeled off to take the point man, thinking, I guess, that Letty was going to pick him up, and Letty didn't do it. So miscommunication there, whatever, or excellent execution by the Wild to hit that pass during. It's like in a football game when the I guess when the wide receiver lets a guy go, hoping the safety picks him up in coverage and never does. That's what happened here. So good on the Wild. It was a nice looking play.
Yeah, it's we saw a similar it's a transition power play goal, which is not something you typically see, but we saw the Blues do that earlier this year. Kairu's first goal, that it was that nice bank pass by Thomas, and Minnesota had the same idea. It's such a quick play. Bennington came out to challenge on the shot, and Hartman just beat him straight through the 5-hole, and it was a hell of a shot. The skill players, the skill player in Kaprizov and the dick-headed player of Hartman combined to score that goal.
Of course, it had to be Hartman, right? Who scored the first goal?
Of course,
had to be fucking Hartman. Another shorthanded goal against the Blues, so that's 2 for the season already. Made it 2-0 Minnesota in the second period. Luco broke up the middle on a breakaway. Kairu caught him, but when I watched this, I'm like, he went to stick left the wrong side. If he goes the other side, he might get him.
Yeah, Lauco though, that was like almost like a stiff arm, right? He
protected himself very well.
Yeah, braced himself for a contact, knowing that Kairu's the weak forward coming back, and just kind of ragdolled him.
Yeah, might be our weakest forward as far as trying that play on
strength.
somebody.
Yeah,
he's not going to go through anybody.
Yeah.
And Kairu did catch him, but couldn't disturb him enough, and went upstairs on Bennington in tight. Nice goal, nice finish.
Yeah, a hell of a job to have the presence of mind to fend Kairu off, and then deke and go upper blocker. Luckily, neither Kairu nor Bennington were injured in the crash into the net.
Yeah. So what do you think about the disallowed goal by Kairu?
Yeah, too quick of a whistle.
I agree.
It is way too quick.
I agree. It's tough because and they explained. I thought Dave Jackson explained this very well on the broadcast. Usually, I disagree with him because I think he just gets stuff wrong. It's almost like he's just always on the side of the officials. But I thought this was a good explanation by him. He was like, it's a tough spot for the official because you don't want to let it go too long. You don't want guys jabbing at the goalie. Once he covers it, you want to blow that whistle so he doesn't get, jabbed and poked and, guys jabbing away at it. But, he didn't have the puck. I mean, it looked like he did. He came down on it. It looked like he did, but he didn't, obviously.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, if he waits a half second, if he waits a half second to make that decision, a half second longer, he might not blow the whistle.
Right. And I do think that Jackson was, playing the side of the official, saying he did the right thing, but he's also like, but he didn't need to blow the whistle because you have instant replay.
That's true.
And challenges.
That's true.
And
he did. I agree. It's like offsides calls. It's like if it's really close, let them go. Because if it's a goal scored, then they can challenge it, right? And if you're wrong, so you don't want to blow a play offside that's actually onside, which I see a lot. I'll be like, that looked onside, and I'll go back, I'll slow it down, and I'm like, yeah, that was onside. And I think they miss a lot, and they really should. If it's super close, let it go.
Just let it go.
Let it go. I mean,
yeah, and credit where credit's due. That was the save of the game. Right. If I would have been told I had to pick a save save to break down, that was a save.
Yeah.
Right. That Thomas to Kyrou, and Kyrou with a quick shot. What a save by Gustafson. I mean, absolutely 10 bell save. And he's gonna get that. Right. He's gonna get the probably the benefit of the doubt from the official, and probably the quick whistle, because holy shit, that was a save.
Mm-hmm. And then to end the period, the Blues scored a half second after the buzzer, which was rough. It just seemed like the Blues were just constantly coming up on the short end of the stick in this game. It was a frustrating game to watch because you don't get the benefit of the doubt on the quick whistle, and the puck goes in just after the horn to end the period. And then there's the high stick late in the game. That on Broberg in the corner, that the 4-minute penalty. It's like, there goes your chance to try and do anything.
But at least he bloodied Hartman.
Right. No,
silver linings. Right.
He was driven pretty good. Early in the third period, when it was 2-0, you're thinking, okay, 2-0. The Blues have had comebacks. They should feel confident and shouldn't feel like it's a mountain to climb down 2-0, since they've had a couple of. That, I guess, has a benefit of coming back in a couple of games in a row from multiple goals down. If you're down by a couple goals, it's like, we've been here before. We can do this.
Right.
But early in the third, less like 40 something seconds into the third period, whatever it was, Marco Rossi scores 3-0 after another fucking bad play by Nick Leddy.
Yeah.
Turnover coming out of the zone. Just
absolutely no reason for him to try to play that puck past Kaprizov, who has dominated the entire game, like just lack of awareness, and then the puck luck, right? The Blues had zero puck luck. I mean, the puck caroms off of two skates, and like if it wouldn't have hit Parayko's skate the second time, Rossi doesn't wind up in like in his wheelhouse for the tap in.
It hit Leddy's skate, then it hits Parayko's skate. And then it's just like, it just ping pongs right to Rossi. It's just like, what the fuck? And so obviously fans, I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated. I'm like, you're trying to get back in this game and the puck is just not bouncing your way, with that quick whistle. And then the half second after the horn, and then this stupid play. It's like some games you just aren't meant to win. And this seemed like one of them. And the Blues couldn't finish in this game. Parayko has a backdoor tap in play, I think, when it was 2-0.
On a setup by Leddy.
Yep. And he just redirects it, just grazes off the outside of the post, right, or whatever it was. It just not bouncing our way. And at one point the broadcast crew said that this could easily be 3-1 Blues.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it could have been.
The Blues had a really strong second period overall, but not getting those two goals and Gustafson playing really, really well, outplayed Benner in that game. That wound up being the difference.
Let's see some comments. Kyrie's goal was waved off for premature whistle. Then AJ goes, "That's the right call. The puck wasn't covered." I mean, I understand what the broadcast crew was saying, and it was the right call. The referee lost sight of the puck, and it looked like it was the video that you're looking at. It looked like he came down on it and was covered, but the puck was between his trapper and his pad, which you can't see, and the referee couldn't see, so he thinks it's covered. And I understand why the whistle was blown. It was quick, but I understand why he blew it. But
yeah, and it's one of those plays that for a broadcaster in the heat of the moment, you're still trying to break it down, but you can't be wishy-washy. And I mean, I think we'll all agree that it was too quick a whistle.
Yeah.
Let them play through it,
Sure.
and then Minnesota can challenge whether the puck was covered, right? Or is that maybe that's not a challengeable thing? Right?
Yeah,
But it wasn't. But the thing was, there where you could challenge there would be goaltender interference, and there wasn't any. Right, the puck just went straight through him.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any. Was there a bump on him?
No,
I didn't.
There
think
was
so.
not. There wasn't,
because they didn't even talk. That would have been a topic of discussion if he was bumped and the puck came free. Yeah, but okay. And then later in the third period, Matthew Joseph got his first as a blue on a wrist shot under the blocker, far post past Gustafson from the faceoff dot, 3-1 Minnesota. That's as close as the Blues got. They had chances in this game, like we said. Parayko had a chance. We had the fantastic save before Kyrie's goal was waved off with a quick whistle. Just I guess one of those games where it's not the Blues night and it's not bouncing their way, whatever. And to end this game, Gustafson's goalie goal, which was so I have before we break down this play, Bill, before you do, there's like 15 seconds to go and there's 18 seconds, whatever it was, and there's a face off. Why is Bennington out of the net? Why is he pulled? I would have just put him back in. The faceoff wasn't even inside the zone.
No, it was outside the zone.
Yeah, so
down 2 goals. It's the modern NHL, right? You pull it because it gives you your best shot.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter if you give up another goal.
I guess, but if there's 4, 5, 6 seconds to go when it's physically impossible to score 2 goals, you probably put him back in, I guess. Then, I mean, whatever. And then the shot from Buchnevich outside the blue line, right on net. I'm like, okay, I guess whatever. Hoping for a lucky one. But
No.
I didn't like that shot because you're giving up the puck with the pulled net. I don't know.
Yeah, no. To me, that was the whole key to this. And I'm gonna ask for the folks that do the NHL series on EA Sports to reduce Pavel Buchnevich's hockey sense by let's take him down 10 on that play. That's just situational awareness dumb, right? Take a slap shot and you're not you don't put it into his pads. You put it right up where he can catch it. And the Blues haven't been quick all night trying to get in on the forecheck. Gave them plenty of time to catch it, drop it, and lift it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, so no save of the week this week. We don't deserve a save of the week when you give up a goalie goal, right? Everything in the goaltender universe is overshadowed by the goalie goal. So
this is the goaltender play of the week.
Yes,
right?
The goaltender play of the week.
Right.
It goes to Philip Gustafson. Terrible decision by Pavel Buchnevich. I had the feeling as soon as I saw him line up for that, I'm like, oh, this is coming back the other way. And it's going to be a goalie goal. And but to pull that off, like to get it, catch it, drop it, and get down underneath it and fire it over everybody, including 6'12" Colton Parayko. Right. It's a thing of beauty.
Did you hear what he said after the game? He goes, he wants to be in on the power play meetings now.
Yes, yes. I thought his interview was
Yeah.
With Emily Kaplan was pretty awesome.
That was
you know,
good.
he owned the moment as he should, right? So let's put this in perspective. He's the 10th goalie in NHL history to have shot the puck into the opposing net. Right. There have been 15 or more goalies credited with a goal, but only 10 have scored against another team. And the Blues are now in the conversation on the wrong end of it. Right. Just not where we want to be. Not in your own barn. You don't want to see that. But God, I'm glad I didn't pay to go to this game because I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there to see my team give up a goalie goal. As much as I love it as a goalie, who probably can't even shoot the puck like the ice myself. There's something about it. Like it's something like my initial reaction was, God, I hope they get back skated. You don't give up a goalie goal in your own barn, right?
I know.
You get back skated 2 days in a row.
On your home opener too, right?
Yeah. Home opener, right? Against a divisional opponent that you've had goalie controversy with, right? Go back to Bennington versus Fleury.
Yep.
Right? And yeah, you don't want to give them the advantage there, and we did.
Justin Scott said that Bushnevich was looking for an offensive zone face-off and didn't work. If we're down by a goal, maybe. But down by 2, what does that even do? You're shooting the puck on goal. He's not going to cover it. He's going to catch it, drop it down, and then wait. Try and kill time, and then cover it. With 5 seconds to go. Who cares? If he did that, if that's the reason why he did that, I don't like that play because if your goalie's pulled, you're saying we still have a shot, and shooting on net from outside the blue line is not a way to get that done. I don't know.
Right. If you're going to shoot it in there, you go low blocker side.
You're trying to score.
Right. You do not try to go at his head. Yeah. And that's exactly where Bushnevich put that shot.
Ken Morris says Bill can't shoot the puck. Have you ever played as a forward or defenseman? Bill can shoot the puck. Bill's got one of the heaviest, hardest shots that of a guy I've ever played with.
Just not with a goalie stick.
No, he's
shooting left-handed, right-handed. Like when I play defense, I'm a right-handed shot. My right hand's my dominant hand, and I do have a very, very heavy shot. Not it's one of those. It's like, is it fast? No, it's heavy. It hurts.
And I've never really understood what that means. But it's a thing, right? It's not really a fast shot. It's just heavy. It makes the puck feel like 3 times heavier than it is when it hits you. For whatever reason, I don't know how that works, the physics behind that or the science. But yeah, no, Bill, you were a long time Louisville rubber, right?
Yes,
Louisville? Yeah.
I still have that thing.
Do you really?
Out of the garage.
Is the rubber peeling off of it now?
It's chipped up quite a bit, but
yeah
the 2X stiff. Right, that with the Nick Lidstrom Easton Blade, right? That's
So and
that was my go-to.
You being a defenseman who we always wanted to, if you had it, you had room, put it on. And I was always one of the guys that would go to the front, right, and just trying to screen, tip, block, whatever. I'm like, I got hit with a few of those, man. Yeah, I don't feel good.
Yeah, no. But when it comes to handling the puck as a goaltender, I'm probably less than 50% chance that the puck's going to go where I want it to go when I shoot it. That was not a thing in my day, and not something I worked a ton at.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Justin Scott really wants to talk about this. Falk and Broberg haven't been on the ice for any goals yet this season. Kurt Bill. I think that's right. Isn't it? Is that right? Yeah. 5 on 5, right? Yeah. So, or any goals? Is it any goals or is it just 5 on 5?
No. I think it's well, has Broberg gotten PK time? I haven't noticed.
Yeah, he's a +3. I can look it up, but yeah, I mean that sounds right.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
know what I said. I've said Falk and Broberg have been the two best Blues defensemen this season
Yeah.
by far. It's not even close.
Right.
Um,
And that's like, go look at the hockey stat cards, right? Parayko and Leddy are terrible, right?
oh,
They're getting the hard matchups, and they are not turning them around. We are getting owned,
but
with them on the ice.
apparently Letty's hurt, so
Yes,
he's
right.
yeah. Where is that? I had him. Oh, Letty is he's day to day with lower body injury, or so they say.
Okay,
Bannister
Yeah,
said something was bothering him yesterday, but he was fine to play last night, and it popped up again today.
but he really wasn't fine to play last night because he sucked last night.
He's sucked the whole season.
Yeah,
So I mean, this could be legit. He could actually be hurt, sore, whatever.
right.
Or it could honestly be something where they want to sit him because they see how bad he's been, and this is a way for him to save face. He's not
Yeah,
getting. He's a veteran guy who, might not want to say he's being sad because he's not playing well. So he's just gonna. They're gonna say, "Oh, he's hurt," so we'll give him maybe a few games off or whatever. And
yeah.
so
So that's what I'm hoping, right? And Broberg has been one of the really good bright spots
mhm.
on this team, right? So far this year, Kairu not being a liability and actually being like the guy that you can count on for goal scoring,
Yep.
been the other bright spot. But Broberg, right? We wanted him to come in here and be impactful right away, and he has been.
Mhm.
Right. Dylan Holloway, his advanced stats look good, but not the points on the board stats.
Yeah.
Um,
He's not finishing. He's not completing plays.
right.
And like you said, his advanced stat cards, people will say he's playing great. He's involved in plays. He's making some plays out there, but he's not making the key plays. He's not finishing plays. He's not making
Right.
that final pass, or he's not winning that puck battle on the boards. That it's at the rate that he should be to be effective. So he's got 1 assist in 4 games. He's got to be better than that. So,
Yeah.
and I assume that'll come. I'm not, like I said, I'm just talking about what's happened so far. I'm not saying this is a sign of things to come by any means. I expect better from him this season. So,
Oh, Ken, please no. And they dressed Tyler Tucker in lieu of Letty. God, no.
that's an
Please
actual.
do that. Do not call it back up.
Would you rather have Tucker or Letty?
I would rather have Perunovic.
Yes, I would too. Oh, in a second.
And the other defenseman that's still here is P.O. Joseph. And I imagine that P.O. Joseph is going to be one that draws in tomorrow night, not Perunovic.
Again, and not that I think Perunovic is going to be, a world beater, but I just if he doesn't get slotted in tomorrow, I'm wondering if he doesn't get waived before too
Right.
long.
Right.
Because this is his last season. He has to make an impression. Otherwise, they're just going to go elsewhere. I mean, they have to see what he's got, and he hasn't played in the first 4 games. And a guy that's arguably one of the worst defensemen in the NHL stats wise played all 4 games. So if you're not going to start him in place of Letty, then when would you ever start him?
Yeah. Well, and then, what I would really like to see is, while Falk and Broberg have been really good together, let's see Parayko and Broberg. Not that any of us really expected Broberg to get signed to an RFA deal and come in and be on our top pair, but he's been good enough this year, and Letty's been so atrocious. I want to give it a try. And the limited sample size that we had of Parayko and Broberg in the preseason, they look good together. So let's give it a try. Like, don't be afraid. You don't have. It's like, I think, part of the Blues problem is that it's been so formulaic, right? We want veterans. We want the top 2 shutdown guys. Give Broberg a shot to try that with Parayko. Let's see what it looks like for a game or two. What's it gonna hurt, right? You force fed Nick Leddy on us, and it's blown up in our face.
Right. I'm done. I'm done with Nick Leddy. I mean, I always, and I think I said that, it's 4 games in the season, not going to panic. I'm not panicking with Leddy. I'm just telling you how it is. He's just not good. And maybe he's been hurt this season, and maybe he can play a little better if he's healthy and get some time off. I would hope so. But based on his body of work the past couple of years, I'm like, if you bring up anybody and play him in his place, I mean, even if he's not very good, it's still a net same, So it's just, I don't know. He's got that no trade clause, doesn't he? Or no, this is last year, right? Letty's no, he's got 2 more years. God damn it! I thought he had 1 more year. Shit, I thought he had 1. I thought this was last year for some reason. 2 more seasons. Fuck. 2 more seasons of Leddy, including this one.
Right. And that's the problem, right? We're stuck with this mediocre aging defense because of all the 6.5 million 6-year deals that Army doled out 3 or 4 years ago. Well, right. We're going to be stuck in that situation until we get to the tradable point of their contracts, or the
Letty's tradable. Yeah, Letty's tradable point is he has a 16 team trade list next season. So, but he can't be traded at all right now without his approval.
Yeah,
And you know what? A veteran player like Leddy, and I don't think Armstrong would do this. We've talked about this before with certain players. A veteran guy like Leddy, if Armstrong were to go to him and say, "Hey," he could do this the right way. He could say, "Hey, look, we want to go a different direction on defense. We don't see you getting a lot of ice time. You're probably going to be in the press box most of the season. If you want to play, we can try and move you to somewhere. And maybe a contender would want to get you as a 7th defenseman or something, as a fill-in guy in case of injury. And would you be open for a trade then? Otherwise, you're not going to play much here the next 2 years."
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot. But the thing, if this were the last year of his contract, I think that's plausible. He's got another year. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think a team's going to want him with another year in the contract.
Yeah. Nope. I would agree.
Yeah. That's a tough spot. I think you just have to eat it. You have to put him in the press box and just let $4 million sit in the press box. You just have to.
Yeah. And maybe it is another story, another Bouwmeester, another Scandella, right? Playing in Parayko, playing injured for too long and being ineffective. So give him time off and see if he can heal and see if he comes back actually healthy. But at this point, he's doing more harm to this team than good. Get him the fuck off the ice.
Ken Moore says next season will not be Steen's problem. Armstrong is here for 2 more this season
26.
and next.
Yeah, 26 is when Steener takes over.
Yeah, if Steen were taking over next season, I'd be like, ooh, that's fast. For a guy that has no gym experience and no upper administration experience. So.
Right. Wait until the Swedes that he's been instrumental in drafting are starting to crack this lineup. Then make it his team.
Jeff has some notes here. Mr. Jeff Ponder, who is again facing serious allegations, so he is dealing with those right now. He has some notes on Nick Leddy. Leddy was credited with 3 giveaways in the last game, but Ponder says he saw at least 5. The giveaway stat is so stupid. Yeah, the team as a whole could have like 8 giveaways in a game or 12, and it's like, are you kidding me? You can see 12 in a period. It's so subjective of what they consider to be a giveaway. But he said Leddy has been on the ice for 7 of the 14 goals against this season, even strength 6 of 9 goals against, and he's 3rd on time on ice per game, and he's 2nd in shorthanded time on ice. So, yeah, he's getting too much ice time because he's with Parayko. I mean, you almost have to you almost have to move him down. I mean, switch it up, like they're talking about. Like you said, move Broberg up, play with Parayko, put Letty in the third pairing if he's going to play at all. At least you get better matchups with Letty. You can't continue to put him on the top line. If you're going to dress him, fine, bury him. Third line pairing.
And this pains me to no end to say this, but Ryan Suter has been so much better than expected.
Put him with Parayko.
Right. The guy that's been bought out twice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right. Has been our most, apart from Broberg, he's been the defenseman that's Broberg and Falk. He's driven more offense, right? He's got a goal. He almost, he missed the goal by 0.3 seconds last night. He's been effective. I don't want to root against any Blue, but I was not rooting for him when he got here. But he's showing he's still effective enough, and he's more effective than Letty's been.
Yeah,
give him the opportunity. And if you're not going to give it to Broberg, give it to Suter.
And if it's, and it could be an issue, it could be a case where he's, again, third pairing, right? Suter is. So he doesn't have as tough of matchups in theory. Most of the time he's out there against, he's not out there against top line. So I think with his play, he's played well, reward him. Say, okay, we'll see how you do with Parayko for a while. Doesn't work out, then you switch things up, you move Broberg up. I don't think you break up Broberg and Falk right now. I don't think you can. I would try moving Suter up. Flip flop. If Letty's gonna play, put Letty on the third line, or play Perunovic instead of him on the third line. That's what I would do.
Yeah. What I imagine is gonna happen tomorrow night is that P.O. Joseph's gonna draw in. Suter gets moved up to the top line. Probably balance out some matchups with Suter and Parayko, and then Falk and Broberg. And then probably a lot of double shifting of people because they're not going to trust Kessel and Joseph together all that much.
Trees says if Krug goes on the LCIR, use whatever money you get back to start buying out contracts, work to get past the problem sooner rather than later. Krug is already on the LTIR. So that's already, I believe he is, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He's currently listed as on LTIR. So, and they're not going to buy out contracts.
No.
Even though after this season, Letty would be a candidate to be bought out. One season left, but it's not something the Blues do. And so I can't. I know they could have bought out Scandella his last year. It would have been the perfect opportunity. If they weren't going to buy out Scandella for his last season, I don't think they're going to buy out Letty. But
definitely not with 2 years left.
No, I would after this. It'd be after the season if they did it at all, which they won't. I say that because they just don't do it.
Right.
So I mean, some teams do. Some teams will buy out a contract every now and then, which is fine. But you gotta then there are contracts on the books for double the length. Let's see, what is it? I forgot the numbers. Double the length of the time left in the contract, and you're paying, and it still counts against the cap, but a smaller portion counts against the cap. Something like that over the double the length of the remaining contract. So, yeah. Oh, and Jeff's final comment on Letty is, "Get this MFer off my team."
Yes. And just to clarify, the allegations that Jeff is facing tonight, it's almost 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night, and he's dealing with a bunch of beavers. That's all I can say.
Have you seen the movie Hundreds of Beavers?
I have not.
Oh, Hundreds of Beavers. I do believe that's what it's called. It's not thousands, right? Hundreds of beavers. Check out Hundreds of Beavers. It is a very unique movie. It is a kind of a slapstick comedy, kind of silent filmy, but not silent. There's sound effects and grunts and stuff like that. But it's very visually appealing to look at, and it's hilarious. My kids were on the floor laughing a number of times.
I will have to check that out. Have you seen the previews for, I think it's called Sasquatch Sunrise?
No. I have not.
Yes.
Is that like a sequel to Cocaine Bear?
It is another, like, kind of sounds similar to what you said with it being more of a silent movie, not a lot of dialogue and a lot of grunting in that. But apparently, Jesse Eisenberg is in this thing, and it's about Sasquatch, and yeah. So I saw the preview for it, and I will seek it out.
Okay. But yeah, and when I say that Hundreds of Beavers was it's not really a sound. There's audio and sound effects and stuff like that, but
Right,
there's not a lot
but
of
not
dialogue at all.
dialogue, right.
No. I don't think there's any dialogue. It's all like
It's
yeah,
nature sounds.
nature, and there's people in it, but they don't really talk. It's more grunting, and it's funny. So, and like I said, it's a very unique movie. I've never seen a movie quite like it. If you do check it out, you'll understand what I mean in the first 30 seconds of that movie. Anybody in the chat seen Hundreds of Beavers? It got great reviews.
Yeah, Big Beaver says, "What's it about? How do I not know about this?"
It's about a man who encounters hundreds of beavers. It's people in beaver suits. And he's in the woods. It's snowy. And he's just dealing with these hundreds of beavers, and it's like a power struggle. Anyway, it's funny. It's a comedy, slapsticky kind of thing. Reminds me of Charlie Chaplin stuff, in a way. It's just funny. But check it out. Justin's got predictions for tomorrow's game. Against tomorrow's game. Nice segue. Next up for the Blues, Thursday, October 17th versus the Islanders at 7. Saturday, the 19th. These are at home, by the way. Carolina at 6. And then Tuesday, the 22nd, Winnipeg at 7. And then next Thursday, the 24th at Toronto, 6 p.m. So predictions for the Islanders. I hate doing predictions. Hate. It's a home game coming off, not a good game. So you expect a better effort from the Blues start to finish. You never know what you're going to get, but I would expect a better effort from the Blues. I'm very anxious to see what they're going to do on defense. So we'll see.
Yeah. The Isles saw them destroy the Avalanche the other night. Not that it's that difficult to do, although they are coming back in this one.
Zing.
4-3.
That's 4-3 now. Yeah,
Yeah.
14:26 to go. I got.
Yep, but they looked pretty good. The Hockey News goalie edition, I picked that up earlier this week, and they have the top-rated tandem in the NHL according to the Hockey News with Sorokin and Varlamov.
They are currently 1-1-1.
Yeah,
through 3 games.
They looked really good against the Avalanche. Ooh,
10 goals for, 10 goals against.
Miles Wood seems to be having a problem in the nether regions.
Oh, you must be ahead of me.
Oh.
And their games so far this season have been, if I can pull this damn schedule up. Sometimes I hate sites. Okay, let's see. They've lost to Utah in overtime 5-4. They lost to the Stars 3-0. And they beat Colorado 6-2. And they play us 7:00.
Yeah,
Thursday. So
be an interesting game.
Yep. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. The Blue Jackets home opener saw a 13-second clock run off to open the game, and had no left winger on the ice to honor Johnny Gaudreau. So did you see that, Bill? The video?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
Yeah, it's total just awesomeness. Did you see the Calgary tribute to Gaudreau?
No, I did not.
So they did an amazing pregame presentation, and they showed his top highlights, top moments with Calgary, and for each one they put a spotlight on the spot on the ice where he made the magic happen, and it was just it hit me right in the feels. I was choked up after watching that, and then seeing last night's. That it's such a tragedy that he's gone, and his brother. And
okay. So I was just gonna say this, and then you said that, and I kind of like, oh, does it bothers me that both him and his brother were tragically killed, and Johnny Gaudreau gets all the press. I know he's the star player.
Right.
I get it. Yeah. But I mean, his brother was killed too. I mean, yeah. I think was it during the Blues, the moment of silence the Blues gave, they just mentioned Johnny Gaudreau. I don't think they mentioned Matthew. The moment of silence for Johnny Gaudreau. So I don't know. It's like I almost feel like, well, come on.
Yeah, most everybody that I saw at least had the throw on, the throw in, that included his brother. But
right,
I guess we didn't do that.
I don't know. I mean, it's just whatever.
Oof.
I mean, I get it, but it's not like it was just some rando. It was his brother. So what happened here?
That was quite the heavy hit.
Yeah, although it happened kind of quick. That camera angle didn't really show it for me. Okay, so I think as far as our topics, that about does it. One more comment from Justin Scott. I think Suter is going to play with Parayko, Kurt. That's who practiced together. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. I think I'd like to see that. Yeah, and then rest in peace, Johnny. We did not give a 13-second moment of silence on the show, but yeah.
I blame Ponder.
I do. He's not here.
Yeah. And he would blame Austin.
He would. Who's also not here.
Right.
So, all right. That will do it for that'll wrap up this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio, episode 3 of season 14. This is the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Eyes Wide Shut Ponder, Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Colorado sucks. Let's enjoy it for a while.
Let's go Blues.
I can find the closing. There we go. Ha!
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
You thought I was going to say, son of a bitch, didn't you?